Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video by Capacity Bay. My name is Faculty Nathaniel from Capacity Bay and I'll be your instructor for today's topic. In our previous class we talked about CSS transitions and today we are going to talk about CSS animations. Without further ado, let's dive right in. CSS animation makes it possible to animate transition from one CSS style to the other. It consists of two components, a style describing the CSS animation and a set of keyframes that indicate the start and the end states of the CSS animation styles, as well as a possible intermediate waypoint. Well, a lot of what I'm talking about, we will see it in action shortly. Basically, it just helps us to animate the transition in which we had in the former video, to specify the state where it starts from, where it ends. Sometimes when we open website, we see how beautifully the elements are displayed, how they slide in, how they slide out, and all of those popular animations. So today, that is what we are going to be talking about. So without further ado, I will start writing the code now. Now what I have here is my VS Code, my HTML, and then my CSS file. It has been linked, so we will start right away. First of all, we will be animating the div in which we have on line 11. This div, that's what we'll be animating. So I have already created a style.css file and I've linked it also as seen on line 7. So immediately we are going to style the div elements we have on our HTML page. So first of all, we select the div with the class name. Then we go ahead and specify the width. So let's say 200 pixels. Let's make it 300. And then we specify the height of 200 pixels. And then we specify the background color of crimson. And then we specify the animate property. Now, before we specify the properties before we specify the animate property, now the animate property has different other properties with it. So it has the likes of the animation duration, the animation iteration count, the animation delay, and all of those. Now, how to create an animation is actually very simple. To create an animation, you style the element you want to animate with the animate property or sub properties. This specifying this animate property helps you to configure the timing, durations, and other details of how the animation sequence should progress. This does not configure the actual appearance of the animation. That is done with the keyframes rule. There is a rule called keyframe in which we are going to specify very soon. So we have different sub properties of the animation property. We have the likes of the animation delay. We specify the delay between an element an element starting and ending of the animation sequence, whether the animation should start immediately from its beginning or partway through the animation. The animation direction also is another sub property that specifies if the first iteration should be forward or backward, and whether the subsequent animations should be in alternate direction. So we also utilize that and see how it works. Also, we have the animation name. This specifies the name. It allows the keyframes. It's an identifier for the keyframes. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and do a little animation with our div box here. So I have already opened it with my live server. So we go ahead and check. This is our div box in which we've specified the colors. Now I'd like to move it away from the top, so I'll go ahead and give it a margin top of, let's say, 100 pixels. So it has moved from the top. Now what the animation will be doing will be making sure that this div box is slides out. like it moves from here out of the viewport. So to do that, we go ahead and specify the animation name. As I mentioned earlier, is a unique identifier for our keyframes. So the name will be slide out. Now we specify the animation duration. Animation duration. So let's say 3 seconds. And then we now specify our keyframes rule. So how we do that is we use the @ keyframes, and then the next thing we write is our animation name. Yeah. So the animation name was slide out. Then we open our curly braces. Then now the how the animation is done is that it has specific rules. Now it uses percentage to indicate the time duration of the animation sequence. Now we have 0% to indicate the start point, and then 100% to indicate the completion or the final state of the animation. So also we can also use from and to, the from and to. So we are going to kickstart by using from. So where the animation should start from, and to. Now where the animation should end. So we specify from. Now we want the animation to be a slide out kind of animation. So from the margin left originally is 0. Now the background color is red. We can also change the background color, but let's do one thing at a time. Now to the margin left will now become, let's say, margin left will now become maybe 700 pixels or 200%. Let's see. So now we go back to our browser and we refresh. So it slides out quickly. Okay, it slides out quickly as you see. As we refresh, as our page loads, the div box slides out. Now we can also make it to we can also make our animation to, it doesn't just happen once. We can make it to be alternating, you understand? So instead of just happening once, we can make sure that the animation alternates. And how to do this is it's quite simple. So we specify the animation iteration count. So that's when we specify the animation iteration count. Animation iteration count. So how many times should it happen? So we can specify a value of infinite. If we don't specify it at all, it will not alternate. But if we specify a value of infinite, it will alternate. So once we reload, it goes out and it keeps going out like that, and comes in and goes out like that. So that's what our iteration count helps us to do. So then also, if we want the animation to be back and forth, it goes out. You can see that it goes out from the right and comes in from the left. So if we want it to go out from the right and then come in again from the right, that's when we specify the animation direction. So it's another sub-property, animation direction, and then we can have the values of alternate, reverse, normal, reverse, and the likes. So we start with alternate. Let's see. We reload. So it goes out, it comes in, it goes out again, 3 seconds, it comes in, and then it goes out again. So that is what our animation direction does for us. We can have reverse. So let's see how that one works. So it comes in, it keeps coming in. Instead of going out, our original animation was slide out that should go out. So instead of going out, we keep saying it should come in. The reverse helps us to do the reverse of the sliding out. So it comes in instead of going out. Also, we can have we can also go ahead to, let's leave it at alternate. We can also go ahead to specify other properties of our animation. You understand? So let's do something else. So for example, we have a p tag with a text, a lorem text of 10 words. So initially I can maybe I want the p tag initially to have a color of white, and then opacity. Okay, wait, before I specify the opacity, so let's see, make sure that our text is there. So our text is there, so, and it's going too fast, so let me make it 5 seconds so that we can, or 7 seconds, so that we can see what is happening. So gradually our text is there, or 10 seconds so that it will go gradually. Okay, so now I want to make sure that the text only shows at a particular point in time. So opacity of 0. So let's see. Okay, so now I'll also specify the keyframes for our animation, for our text animation. So I can also specify another keyframe at keyframes show text. That will be the identifier. So I go ahead and copy the show text and I paste it here. Animation name show text. Then our animation duration should be like 5 seconds. So inside our keyframes of show text, we can also specify, we can use percentage for this time around. At 0%, we want the opacity to be 0. At 20%, we want the opacity to be 0.2 or 3. Opacity 0.3. Then at 50%, we want the text to show a bit at 50%. So we want the opacity to be let's say 0.7. Then at 100%, 100%, at 100%, we want the opacity to be 1. So we go ahead and check that out. So we reload. Gradually it becomes 1 and then it slides out like that. So gradually our text comes in and slides out gradually like that. So it's coming in at the moment since we specified 10 seconds. So gradually it comes in and then our text like that. So that is how our animation works. So I can go ahead and stop this one. Let me stop this other animation. Let me stop this other animation so that we will be able to see our text animation. So gradually our text should come in now. Oh, missed that. So that is basically how our animation thingy works. So let's see it again. Reload, and then our text comes in and then it leaves. So that is how the whole animation thingy works. So that should be a wrap. Or once before we call it a day, let me try and change the background color so that we can see how it works. So at, let's say, maybe we can also combine the percentage. So let's say at 75%, you can change the background color to, let's say, green. So once it gets to 75%, background color of our diff will change. So we reload. So it changes like that. So that's how that one works. So that's a wrap for today's video, and that will be all for today's video. Any questions? If you have any questions, please do well to drop them in the comment section below. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and share our videos to your friends. And also please ensure to hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we drop a new video. See you in the next section. Thank you very much.